we switch gears, and speaking of sports, this man wanted to have a career in professional baseball and came pretty close, and then he was taken away by the world of sin. Of course, I'm talking about Mr. Skin, the authority on nudity in cinema. And I always have to preface this by saying, first off, hello, Mr. Skin. It's nice to see you again.
Yes.
And I always like to,
hey, everyone.
I always like to point out that when you understand what Mr. Skin does, which is look at every film that comes out and show you where the nudity is, that he's not a pimply-faced geek. He's actually, wouldn't you say, quite a handsome man, Christy Lee?
Oh, yes, very handsome.
Handsome, educated.
Very nice. Met him in
Articulate?
person.
Yes,
He's
he
very
looks like he could play shortstop for the White Sox.
Are you tall, Mr. Skin?
Excuse me?
Are you tall?
No, 6 foot. Is that tall?
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. So you're
Okay, so he's not like a 4'10" fat, slack-jawed boy.
but not a shortstop. He would be more of a.
It's what you would expect for what I do for a living.
And you're
you would think I live in my mom's basement, but I do not, just to clarify.
You're a married man?
Yes, I have 3 kids.
All right.
Believe it or not.
Boy,
And I have to say, over time, it's gotten tougher and tougher because 2 of them are girls. And now that one's a freshman in college and one's a freshman in high school. What I do for a living does occasionally come up at the dinner table and not always in a positive light. So from the girls, my son, his friends think it's awesome.
yeah, I'll bet he said that they do. That has to be a little awkward on bring dad to school day.
Oh, there is no bring dad to school day. It's mom will be filling in today. Yeah.
I bet there's sleepovers at your house are a lot. A lot of guys, hey, you want to come over to Mr.
Yeah, I actually literally have to lock my office that I'm here right now because the guys like to sneak around and look at books and pictures and everything. So I have to lock it. So.
Look, kids, be safe. Just steal vodka, okay? Come on. There's too many dangerous things.
We leave the vodka open, but my office has to be shut down.
Now, there's sort of a history here. Years and years ago, Bob created a piece called Skin Scan, and it was in the days of the video. When everything was on videotape, pre-digital, and the joke with Skin Scan was, it would you'd put the video in your machine and it would automatically go. You would skip the dull parts of the movie and go right to the graphic scenes of human contact, if you will, and nudity. And in a parallel universe, Mr. Skin created that exact service. When you started, was it still videotape?
Oh my God, yeah. Everything that was on my website, I shouldn't say that, about 90% was from my videotape collection of recording movies starting in 1980 all the way through the mid 90s. And then I launched this website. It'll be 24 years in August in 1999. And yeah, the quality of the stuff was brutal compared to today. But at the time in 1999, it was like, it was so innovative that you could go to a website and see, up to that time, all the movies, nude scenes, female nude scenes, and people didn't mind that it was video. Obviously, over time, the quality's gotten better and better, and now it's so good. But
I remember going to it.
There was a lot of video early on.
I'd go and, oh my gosh, just one of the guys imprinted on me when I was, and here I can actually see some thumbnails or whatever.
So this is not the topic, which we'll get to in a moment. The topic is the Anatomy Awards from Mr. Skin.
By the way, Tom, just one of the guys is the name of a movie. I wasn't.
That's why I changed the subject.
One of the guys.
Whatever you're into is okay with me. Okay. Mr. Skin.
Oh, no, that's a legendary moment from Joyce Heiser.
Thank you.
Yes, that happens at the hour and 27-minute mark. She reveals that she is a female because she had been posing as a guy. And, that's a cable legendary moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mr. Skin is the Rain Man of cinematic nudity.
That's a good movie.
Mr. Skin, there are, in the world of, say, audio recordings, there are certain recordings that either took a very, very long time to come out in digital form, or in a couple cases have never come out for various technical reasons, copyright or whatever. Are there classic nude scenes from major motion pictures that are still inaccessible or unavailable?
Well, one famous one is Barbara Streisand in The Owl and the Pussycat, which it's one of my great accomplishments of my life, because if you saw the movie in the theater or watched it on video in the 80s, there was no nudity in it, but the Japanese laser disc had a scene of it's 5 seconds where Barbara Streisand shows her breasts, and I tracked that down and have it at MrSkin.com, and that's a great example of one of those great finds, one of my great accomplishments in my life. So yeah,
that's interesting. A few years ago, I was trying to find a very specific album, and I had to buy it from Japan. It was only available there on CD. So
Blind Faith,
yeah. No, it was not the original Blind Faith cover. But thank you, Josh. Yeah, you owed me that. I appreciate it.
He's like a breast archaeologist.
Could be.
Yeah, he's digging deep.
Indiana Bones. Yeah.
Indiana Bones. Did I hear that? Okay, Mr. Skin, we got a limited amount of time here. I want to get to, you have something that you have put together called the Anatomy Awards, and give me the overview of what this is.
Well, this is my 24th annual Anatomy Awards, and with the Oscars on Sunday, we started doing this 24 years ago, where we would parody it, but only for the best in nudity. And really one of the, because I did my top 10 nude scenes of the year at the end of 2022 with you guys. But what this is, it's special because it's a way for me to curate all the crazy and wild nudity that's happened all over the world, not just in American cinema and television. And I'm telling you, this was such a wacky year. Usually I limit it to 33 categories, but this year we had to go to 36 total. But I just launched it today. I'm debuting this on your show. So if any of your listeners want to check out the list for free, it's at the front page of MrSkin.com. But I wanted to go over maybe a few of the highlights just so you guys get a taste of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So for instance, every year I try to have the best nip slip, because I think nip slips are the greatest because they weren't supposed to happen, and it's fun. And yeah, right. And this year the winner, and as you can imagine, she's very proud of this award. It's Camila Cabello, who's a Cuban-American singer known for a song called Havana, also Senorita. And she was on a BBC entertainment show called The One Show. And while she was being interviewed, she wasn't wearing a bra, and she stood up, and a nip was slipped. And that to me was the great one. And there was, guys, stiff competition for this award. I mean, there was Miranda Ray Mayo in Chicago Fire had a nip slip or two. But at some point, you have to, no pun intended, you have to choose what is the best nip slip, and that was it for our Anatomy Awards this year.
Now, how do you find out about a British TV show? Do you have, is this the equivalent of in the world of baseball, do you have scouts out there?
Well, yes, my Skin Scouts. Well, it's my Skinternational division, Tom, was on this, and we got this. We are, it's not just, my website is about chronicling every female nude scene in the history of movies and television from all over the world. It's not just American TV or movies. So, but you'll know a lot of these actresses. You guys would know that won awards. One of them I thought was really funny. I hope you don't lose your license for me saying this, but it's called Best Butt Munch, and I thought it was just spectacular. If you guys remember the Staircase, which was a 13-part true crime documentary about Michael Peterson and Kathleen Peterson. Well, they did a one with Toni Collette and Colin Firth, a drama on HBO Max, and literally there is what I described there on HBO Max. And again, if you haven't seen this and you don't know the context, it's just wild that this was on HBO Max. It reminds me, you guys might remember in that old show Girls on HBO, where Allison Williams had this happen for celebrities. And Toni Collette's a pretty big celebrity.
Yeah.
To do something like this in a mainstream film is pretty crazy. So that's one of the awards, and we have a lot of fun with them.
And obviously the world's changed greatly because so much of the best cinema really is on television now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. It's crazy. the amount of nudity across all the different platforms. When I started this 24 years ago, there was a couple of TV shows. Sopranos were just starting that year. There was Sex in the City. There was a few things, right? Now there's literally like 200 different shows across 45 platforms that not only have nudity, but the quality of the television, it's like you're watching a movie. That's how good television is now. It's not like the old days. It's not like the old days.
Okay, now if you want to view the Anatomy Awards, it's accessible at MrSkin.com. Always a pleasure, Mr. Skin. I can't. Do you ever? I guess you get home every day and your wife goes, "I know you had a hard day at work."
Yeah, as I hang up my suit coat and grab a scotch and water. Yeah.
Don Draper around your house.
Yes. And Mr. Skin, by the way, kind of resembles Don Draper.
A bit, yeah.
A little, yeah.
Mr. Skin, a non-skin related story. I know that you're a former, very fine baseball player and an avid White Sox fan, presumably.
Yes. Being in Chicago, I live in Chicago, and I'm a big White Sox fan.
Do you?
I play college baseball.
Are you a fantasy baseball guy?
No, because it takes up so much of your time. I understand it. I have friends that do it, but it just is such a time drain. And, nudity never rests, guys. I have a lot of work to do.
You sure do.
Yeah.
I can't be worried about baseball statistics in July.
The great comedian Jimmy Pardo summed this up for me many, many years ago when he said when fantasy baseball first started, he got involved kind of almost pre-computer.
Right.
And he said it was really fantasy accounting. It was a lot of numbers. Then real quick, how do you feel about the pitch clock?
Listen, I prefer they don't do it, but it has shortened. Those preseason games are like way shorter than. So if it means that it'll get more people interested in baseball, I'm fine with it. I'm a purist, but I'm willing to try it, and so far I don't hate it. How about that?
Okay.
Mr. Skin. Once again, it's MrSkin.com. Thank you, sir.
Always a
You
pleasure.
got it, guys. Great seeing everyone.
Yes.
The Anatomy Awards are out.
There's some interesting ones. The best tentacle.
Yeah, these categories are cool.
These are really
There's
cool.
one here, best knitting while nude.
Yeah.
And I really hope there were other nominees for that very specific thing.
How weird.
Tommy has an international category.
Yeah?
He calls Skin International. Mm-hmm. Does he have a continental? Have you looked that up? See?
I don't know.
Chick, do you think maybe there's a...
I'm not even looking at you.